morning, guys. So today we have a customer who's complaining about not getting any heat while they're driving. I've been driving this car for about 20 minutes and that coolant needle has not raised whatsoever. So I feel like I know what our issue is, but we'll pull out our computer and get all the information. So after plugging in the scanner, we got a P0128, which pretty much means that either the thermostat is stuck open or the temperature sensor is starting to malfunction, stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and start opening everything up. So this car has two thermostats. First thermostat will be located right here where this connects to. This is the thermostat turn hose, and right there is where our other thermostat is located. So we're gonna have to take apart some things to be able to get to that. First things first, we have to pop off our battery terminals. These are about 10 millimeters, and then we take off the battery tie hold down, and we'll have a lot more room to work with. Pop that negative terminal off first. Same thing with this one. Get that out of the way. All right, now we're going to remove these. Lift the hook up and out of the way, like so. And the back hook should release as well. Okay, now we can remove the battery. Much more room. Look at that. Direct access to that thermostat. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pop off this connector for the thermostat temperature sensor. Okay, there we go. So being realistic, no matter how much coolant you drain, you are going to get coolant spilling from your thermostat because it's attached to the block, not the radiator. So as of right now, I have removed the upper radiator hose and I have disconnected this coolant line from the thermostat housing itself. Okay, so I've got this hose off and this hose off, both connect to the throttle body. I looked at the slack on this heater hose and it looks like I don't have to take this off. So there is 5 10 millimeter bolts that hold this thermostat housing off. So the first one will be located right there. Second one would be up here. Third one is behind this temperature sensor right there. Then there's 2 located underneath where you're gonna have to have a swivel head or a flex head ratchet to remove. All right, so we will be removing the temperature sensor as well. It's a 19 millimeter. You wanna use a 6-wall socket. It goes right on there. A deep socket would probably be preferred. Take your flex head ratchet, start getting to it. All right, so we've removed the temperature sensor. Now we are removing the first bolt that is on the bottom of the thermostat housing that is located under the upper coolant hose fitting. The last bolt is located directly under the temperature sensor, as you can see, like so. So what I'm using is just a 6-inch extension. Let's see if we can try to break the seal on this thermostat housing. Crack it open. Okay, so we broke the seal and all the coolant is now coming out of the block, free flowing. We have our container underneath catching everything, and we can see our thermostat right here. As you can see, the spring is facing outwards from the block. The thermostat is lodged in there like this one. You just want to stick something in there and pry it out like so. And you want to make sure this whole rubber seal comes out. If it doesn't come out in one piece, that is normal. It's rubber. Rubber breaks down after some couple years. This rubber seal all came out in one. So go ahead and compare it to the new part. Let's compare the old thermostat to the new thermostat. The old one is right here. Diameter seems to check out pretty well. This seal does look a little bit bigger, but it's also probably because it was pressed in with the housing. And then here is the temperature sensor. It is a 2-pin temperature sensor. Length looks good, diameter looks good. Only thing is the thread is a little bit longer on this one, but it seems to be the same thread pitch, so we'll see if it works out. Okay, so if you are reusing your old thermostat housing, I want you to clean up your gaskets because you want to make sure that there's no leaks, because you don't want to do this job twice. Even if you're not, I still want you to clean up the mating surface with a wire brush. Make sure it's nice and even for when you put the housing back on. So we went ahead and reversed the process, got the new sensor on there, got the new thermostat on there. Now we're going to move on to the lower thermostat housing. I went ahead and moved this upper radiator hose from the top of the radiator out of the way. And now I'm going to have to use one of these long distance clamp pliers to be able to take off this hose fitting down there. Okay, so after you move the clamp out of the way, I just want to be able to wiggle this lower hose out and move it out of the way so you can see the bolts for the thermostat housing. You are going to remove this wiring harness down there. I think you can use your clip trim remover just to be able to pop it out of the way, and you can access those 2 bolts. So my secret to getting out the bolts for the lower thermostat housing is to use a 2-foot extension and a swivel head on top of the 12 millimeter socket. That is what's working for me. That's what I'm going to stick with. After you remove both of those 12 mils on the thermostat housing, we should just be able to wiggle this free and then we'll compare the new and the old. Here's the side by side. This is the old thermostat. This is the new thermostat. The new thermostat's part number is 34160. Diameter looks the same. The one is a little bit taller in height. It is what manufacturer also recommended as an option. So this is what we're gonna go with. Same thing with this one. You wanna make sure that the mating surface is clean. And then we're gonna have to go ahead and throw the thermostat housing back onto this. Okay, so you reverse the process for everything. Make sure all your clamps are on the same way that they were before you took it off. You wanna check all your hoses, make sure everything is tight and secure before you put your battery back on. We're gonna run the car and burp the coolant. I always like to use concentrate and mix it with a gallon of distilled water. So this is Asian blue coolant. I will add this and then start the car and we'll start the burping process. So while we are adding coolant, we want to make sure that we press on these hoses, try to release all the air bubbles.